Vietnam is a rich country. That sounds like a ridiculous statement, doesn't it? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain to you why I think Vietnam is a rich country. I will be making comparisons with different countries so that you understand why I am saying this. I'm not Vietnamese. I have no reason to praise Vietnam. But I've just come back from Vietnam and things have improved so much in the past 10 years. In the past, I really liked Thailand. I still like Thailand. But 10 years ago, Thailand was a lot more developed than Vietnam. But today, Thailand and Vietnam are almost the same level. So on the screen right now, you're going to see footage of my daughter inside some indoor playgrounds in Vietnam. We're going to talk about that in a few moments. So let's start off by asking ourselves, what if you have $100 in your hand right now? Well, you can either save it or you're going to spend it. Now, if you're going to spend the money, you need purchasing power. You need to be able to buy a lot of things with your money. But if you're living in a Western country, you cannot buy many things with $100. In August, I will be going to America, and I know that $100 will not get you anywhere in America. So, for example, if you want to travel from Lax to Disneyland, that will cost you $70. So if you have $100 in America, you will spend $70 on the taxi ride from the airport to Disneyland, and then you'd have $30 left over. And what can you do with $30 in America? Well, you can probably buy yourself one meal, but you certainly can't pay for your entertainment or your hotel. So $100 does not get you very far in America or any other Western country, but $100 will get you really far in Asia. And I will also be going to Canada, and I will be flying from Abbotsford Airport to Calgary. If you want to travel from Vancouver to Abbotsford, oh sorry, this is for non-Canadians, okay? If you want to travel from Vancouver to Abbotsford Airport, there are only about 5 buses per day. That's inconvenient. And well, if you don't want to take the bus, you can take the taxi, but if you take the taxi, it will cost you about $75. So I think all the viewers will agree with me that Asia is better value for money than both America and Europe. But it's one thing to have cheap prices, but it's another thing to have convenience. You see, in Asia, it's really, really convenient. You can actually buy what you want when you want. So let me just give you an example. Like I'm living in Hong Kong right now, and there are very few indoor playgrounds in Hong Kong. And the ones that are around are quite small. Certainly, they are not the same size as those in Vietnam. And so what I'm saying is, even if you have money in Hong Kong, you cannot buy what you want. You cannot get an indoor playground because there aren't that many around, right? Speaking of convenience, I think that China, Thailand and Vietnam are almost the same. Like if you want a taxi in any of these countries, you just need to use your phone. The taxi will arrive in 5 minutes. If you want to order food online, the food will come in 45 minutes. But there is a difference, because in China you cannot buy Western brand tobacco. In China you cannot buy Western brand medicine. or at least it's very difficult to buy it. And I think it's like that for most products in China. I think 50% of the goods sold in China are Chinese brand goods. It's very difficult to buy Western brand goods. So for me, going to Vietnam is just so convenient because you can buy whatever you want so long as you have the money. You can buy Western medicine in Vietnam. You can buy Western tobacco. You can buy Western foods. You can buy everything in Vietnam. And the other thing is, the other day I left my hotel at 8 in the morning. And I was really surprised because all the shops and all the restaurants were open, even at 8 o'clock in the morning. I would say that shops and restaurants open a lot earlier in in Vietnam than in Thailand and China. So it's a really convenient country. And there is a company called Aeon. It's a Japanese company and they build shopping malls in Vietnam and Cambodia. I'm not so sure if they build these shopping malls in any other country. Maybe they do. But you know that Vietnam is a really hot country. And I think 10 years ago, if you were to ask me 10 years ago, is Vietnam the same as Thailand? My answer would have been no. Because Thailand has always had shopping malls, right? 10 years ago, Vietnam didn't have many shopping malls, right? And it's a hot country, really uncomfortable. But in recent years, they have built so many shopping malls in Vietnam, and these shopping malls are really great. They have the supermarkets and the shops, restaurants, and the indoor playgrounds all under one roof. And some of these shopping malls are located maybe 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers away from the hotel. It's really convenient. And I think it's probably the same in Thailand. But again, if you're going to compare it with China, then Vietnam is more convenient because Chinese cities tend to be a lot bigger. And so it's more difficult to get from A to B. And another thing is that in Thailand and Vietnam, they use Google Maps. So if you want to find something like an indoor playground or a water park, you just search for it online and then you will know how to get there. But that's not the case in China. In China, if you use Google Maps, you may not be able to see everything. You basically have to use a Chinese app in order to find places. So basically, if you have some money, it doesn't have to be a lot of money, but you have some money, or you have passive income coming from somewhere, you have a really high living standard in Vietnam. Now, you can buy what you want at any time you want. You certainly cannot have the same type of lifestyle in a Western country. Also, I understand that I have a daughter who is 3 years old, and for me it's important that we go to these shopping malls so that she can play inside the indoor playground. I understand that not everybody has a child, maybe you don't, but that is not going to change anything, because even if you don't have a child, you can still go to these shopping malls, and as a tourist you still need to order your food online, you still need to pay for your hotel, pay for your taxis, and everything is so much cheaper in Vietnam compared to Western countries. And the goods and services are easily available. So this is the reason why I think Vietnam is a rich country.